On July 25th, 2025, the UK government flipped a switch that didn't just change the internet for British citizens, it changed it for you. Even if you've never set foot in the UK, this new law can now jail American citizens, force companies worldwide to censor their content, and create a surveillance network that makes China's Great Firewall look like amateur hour. What I'm about to show you isn't some dystopian future, it is actually happening right now and it is coming for your data, whether you like it or not.
Now to the UK, because the Online Safety Act has come into force, which means you need to verify how old you are before accessing certain websites. The idea is to protect children from online harm like pornography and suicide websites, but critics say it's curbing free speech online.
So they called it the Online Safety Act because who could possibly be against keeping children safe online, right? Well, that's exactly what they're counting on. For 4 years, privacy advocates, tech experts, and civil rights organizations screamed warning about this bill. They were ignored, dismissed, called extremists who didn't care about children's safety. Well, guess what? Less than 2 weeks after this law went into effect, every single one of their predictions is coming true. The UK government sold this as protecting kids from pornography and self-harm content. What they didn't advertise is that this law also covers what they call misinformation, hate speech, and here's the kicker, content about illegal immigration and people smuggling. Translation? They can now censor anything that disagrees with government policy and call it child protection. But here's where it gets truly insidious. This isn't just a UK problem anymore. The Online Safety Act applies to any website or platform that can be accessed by UK users. That means if you're an American running a blog that gets even a handful of British visitors, you're now subject to UK censorship laws. And the enforcement? Brutal. American employees of companies that don't comply can face criminal charges and up to 2 years in prison if they ever set foot in the UK. Yeah, you think that sounds far-fetched? Ask anyone who's been arrested on international warrants. Geography doesn't protect you anymore. But they didn't stop there. The UK government gave itself the power to force advertiser boycotts and payment processor blacklisting against any company anywhere in the world. The website might be hosted in Texas, your servers might be in Nevada, but if Visa or MasterCard decide they don't want to deal with UK regulators breathing down their necks, you're finished. And if all else fails, they can simply order British internet providers to block access to your site entirely. Great Firewall of Britain, built in the name of protecting children. Now let's talk about what's actually happening to implement this dystopian vision. To comply with the child safety provisions, major platforms like X, Reddit, Discord, and even Spotify now require age verification for UK users. Sounds reasonable, right? Here's how age verification actually works. You upload a photo of your government ID or submit to a facial scan. This data gets stored by third-party verification companies, the same companies that have suffered massive data breaches in the past and very recently. But here's the truly sick part. When children encounter these age verification walls while doing legitimate research for school projects, many panic and submit their IDs anyway, not understanding what they're doing. Congratulations, UK government, you've just created the world's largest database of children's faces and identity documents, all in the name of protecting them.
Suspicion of encouraging suicide, okay? So you don't have to say anything.
Right.
Do not
I've got kittens upstairs that I need to look after.
I'll just caution you, okay?
Who's at the back door?
What?
The first criminal conviction under this law happened in July 2025. Tyler Webb was sentenced for encouraging self-harm on Telegram. Now, I am not defending this person's actions. What he did was reprehensible. But notice how quickly they moved this from "this is just about child safety" to "we're monitoring private messages on encrypted platforms." And the censorship has already begun. Reports are flooding in of legitimate content being blocked. Footage of police attacking protesters, blocked. The subreddit for cider, yes, the apple beverage, now requires photo ID to access. Several smaller websites now have just been simply shut down because they can't deal with the additional compliance costs. Even Elon Musk's X platform, which has generally been resistant to government pressure, issued a statement saying the law's laudable intentions are at risk of being overshadowed by the breadth of its regulatory reach, and that free speech will suffer. When Elon Musk thinks you've gone too far on censorship, you've really screwed up. The Wikimedia Foundation, the people who run Wikipedia, refused to implement age verification, calling it a threat to free access to information. They challenged the law in court and lost. Even educational content is now subject to government censorship. But let's be honest about what this is really about. In April 2025, UK Deputy Science Minister Baroness Jones specifically cited last summer's anti-immigration protests as justification for these censorship powers. Not child safety, political protests. This law gives the government power to decide what counts as misinformation. It gives them power to silence criticism by claiming it might cause harm, and it gives them power to financially destroy anyone who refuses to comply. The UK government has created a system where they can monitor private communications, censor political content, build databases of personal information, financially destroy dissenting voices, jail foreign citizens for non-compliance, all while hiding behind the shield of protecting children. And this cancer is spreading. US politicians are already calling for similar laws. South Dakota and Wyoming have enacted age verification requirements. Federal legislation is being proposed that would make the UK's law look tame by comparison. They found the perfect Trojan horse: child safety. Who wants to be the politician who votes against protecting kids? But here's what they're not telling you. These laws don't actually protect children. They just create massive surveillance systems while pushing harmful content further into the darker corners of the internet, where it's even harder for parents and authorities to monitor. Real child protection would involve education, parental tools, and going after actual predators, not building a surveillance state that monitors everyone's online activity. So what happens next? The UK is just getting started. They're already talking about expanding the law to cover disinformation, meaning anything that contradicts government narratives. They're considering restricting VPNs to prevent people from bypassing their censorship, and other governments are watching closely. The European Union is implementing similar measures under their Digital Services Act. Australia is developing their own version. Canada is considering comparable legislation. We are witnessing the construction of a global censorship infrastructure built piece by piece, country by country, all in the name of protecting children. The UK government just declared war on free speech, and they're using your concern for children's safety as ammunition against you. This isn't about protecting kids, it's about control. Control over information, control over discourse, and control over dissent. The internet was supposed to be the great democratizer, giving everyone access to information and the ability to speak truth to power. Instead, you are watching governments turn it into the most sophisticated surveillance and censorship system in human history. And the scariest part, most people are cheering as it happens, because who doesn't want to protect children? The UK just showed the world how to destroy internet freedom while looking like the good guys. Unless something big happens now, everywhere else will be next. So, what are you going to do about it?